Stardom has changed dramatically over the years. From the silent film era to today's digital media age, the way actors become stars, how they maintain their image, and how the influence from audiences has evolved. But how? What does it mean to be a star, and how has this concept shifted over time? In this video, I'll be exploring this topic by comparing two comedy icons, Charlie Chaplin, a legend of the silent film era, and Jim Carrey, a contemporary comedy superstar. By using Richard Dyer's star theory, we'll examine their personas, their careers, and how their relationship with fame reflects the changing nature of stardom. Charlie Chaplin. When you think of silent films, you probably think of his infamous tramp character. The bowler hat, the cane, his funny walk. But Chaplin was more than just a comedian. He was a filmmaker. He was a director, a writer, even a composer. He controlled nearly every aspect of his films, and that control was crucial to how he shaped his public image. Christine Gledhill is a film theorist who had four aspects of her star theory: capital value, constructed persona, deviance, and cultural value. Chaplin's films made him a global icon and a financial machine. His persona was carefully built. It symbolized resilience. His films also critiqued industrialization and class struggles. His political controversies and scandalous relationships shaped his public perception. According to Richard Dyer's star theory, stardom is built on three key aspects: construction, commodity, and ideology. In Chaplin's case, his persona was carefully constructed through his films. He was a lovable underdog, always struggling but fighting the urge to give up. His image was also a commodity. Studios marketed him as a universal entertainer, appealing to the audiences worldwide. And finally, his films carried ideological messages, not only funny, but were also social critiques. Modern Times satirized his industrialization, and the great dictator boldly criticized fascism at a time when Hollywood was afraid to. But behind the camera, Chaplin was a far more complex figure. His personal life was full of controversy, from his political beliefs to his relationships. His suspected communist sympathies eventually led him to being exiled from the US. This just shows us how the gap between a star's public image and the private reality is not always what it seems. Chaplin's tramp character may have been adored by millions, but the man behind the mustache is not all sunshine and rainbows after all. Now, let's fast forward to the late 20th and early 21st century and take a look at Jim Carrey. If Chaplin was the king of silent comedy, Carrey is the master of exaggerated, high-energy slapstick. His breakout roles in Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber made him to be a household name. But unlike Chaplin, Carrey's fame wasn't just built through cinema. It was also fueled by TV, viral culture, and later, social media. When you apply Dyer's and Gledhill's star theory to Carrey, you can see that his image was constructed through his over-the-top comedic style. His exaggerated physicality defined his comedic brand. He has openly challenged Hollywood, fame, and mental discussions. As his career progressed, he started taking on more serious roles, such as The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which revealed a deeper and a more complex performer. His films were commercially successful, making him one of the highest-paid actors of the 90s. And in terms of ideology, his later work, especially The Truman Show, questions fame, surveillance, and media control, themes that even feel more relevant today. But what's even more interesting about Carrey is how the modern media landscape has shaped his public image. Unlike Chaplin, whose persona was largely controlled by the film industry, Carrey's identity is constantly framed by the internet, interviews, and memes. He has spoken openly about mental health, depression, and the struggles with identity, something stars of the classical era rarely ever did. In recent years, he's become more philosophical, even critical of fame itself, showing how modern stars engage with their own celebrity status differently.
Do you believe in icons? Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise.
So, what do Chaplin and Carrey tell us about the stardom evolution? First, there's production and control. Chaplin had total creative control over his films, writing, directing, and even editing them. Carrey, on the other hand, worked within the Hollywood studio system, although his later career saw him pursue more independent experimental projects. Nevertheless, back in Chaplin's time, big production companies such as Paramount or Warner Bros. Strictly controlled actors, whether it was to do with what they wear, who they dated, or even what they said in public. Compared to the new day and age, production companies controlling actors or actresses like that would certainly cause some kind of controversy. Then there's a public versus private persona. Chaplin's personal life was controversial, sure, but it was still somewhat distant from the audience. In contrast, Carrey struggles with mental health and his thoughts on fame are openly discussed and dissected in interviews. Finally, there's media influence. Chaplin's fame was built through cinema and print media, whereas Carrey's stardom is shaped by TV, internet culture, and social media. The digital era has made stars more accessible, vulnerable, and constantly reinterpreted by their audiences. The comparison between Charlie Chaplin and Jim Carrey shows how the concept of the star has evolved from the classical to contemporary eras. Chaplin's fame was carefully crafted through silent cinema and controlled narratives, while Carrey's career is shaped by Hollywood, blockbusters, television, and digital culture. In the past, stars were often distant, mysterious figures. The personas were managed by studios. Today, actors are more accessible, their lives constantly scrutinized by the media and public. But one thing remains the same. Great performers leave a lasting impact. Chaplin and Carrey, despite the differences in their eras, both pushed the boundaries of comedy and transformed the way we see movie stars. So, as media continues to evolve, we ask, what will the next generation of stars look like? One thing's for sure, the concept of stardom is never static. They always change, just like the stars themselves.